Funny development on Mamdani. So he hasn't yet earned the support of all of the New York City establishment Democrats, right? Like he's been fighting for that. A funny development is that, remember that insanely racist rant that Gillibrand went on the Brian Lehrer show, where she essentially was like, "Oh, Zoran, I hate he's Muslim. I hate that he calls for jihad. I hate that he says, you know, all Jews must go." Like, I hate all those things that he said, and I would never say those things.
Are protected from his plans to punish and fine our institutions, which fundraise these medical nonprofits, which do work both here in the United States and in Israel and other countries in the world. And also, how can we hold Mr. Mamdani accountable for his glorifying association of Hamas and other terror bombings of the Intifada?
Yeah, they did the call. Okay, I'm trying to. Yeah, they did the call in.
To his revisionist Holocaust knowledge, to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, where Jews were mass exterminated and faced threats. He compared when Jews were killed to when Jews fought back against Nazis. It's quite despicable. I'm sorry.
Gabe, thank you for your call. There's a lot in there, Senator, some of which may be inaccurate. So I don't know. I can't fact check everything in real time. But do you know any of that to be inaccurate or accurate, including the original premise that he would somehow talk?
Okay, you guys are going to have to hold on. I'm trying to find a direct source for this. I'm seeing Hochul condemn this statement. Okay, that's what I'm trying to support right now because I've seen it discussed and I'm trying to find support for it. Yeah. Okay, so what you're doing right now is you're showing me a tweet. Kathy Hochul today condemns fellow Dem Senator Gillibrand for her comments about Zoran Mamdani. No one should be subjected to any comments that slur their ethnicity, their religious beliefs, and we condemn that anywhere it rears its head in the state of New York. I'm trying to find the source on this, though. It's under, while speaking today with reporters at the NYHTC headquarters. I asked Hochul about racism Mamdani had already faced, including from Gillibrand. Hochul clearly heard me and did not defend Gillibrand, though she did not specifically address Gillibrand's specific comments either. Interesting insight, got it from Sam Cedar, but Hochul is being ran against by her lieutenant governor on a more left campaign, so she has pressure against her to not be evil to Mamdani if she wants to keep power. Is Lieutenant Governor Delgado pro Mamdani? Do we have like an explicit? Appears to be yes. Oh, hell yeah, absolutely. Delgado says Mamdani's win is a confirmation of his run. Nice. All right. Well, that says it. That says it pretty clearly. Yeah, I'll take that. The Democrats need to fall into line. Hochul declined to say whether she would support Mamdani during a news conference on Thursday, but we're talking about news that came out, on Sunday. Chuck Schumer has not delivered a prompt endorsement. Gillibrand has said that he's scary and Muslim. Hakeem Jeffries has not issued. Did you see the Jeffries quote unquote like non-endorsement? God, I hate this man. I hate this man so much. Find me the clip. Where's the clip?
Let's start with the big news, Leader Jeffries, out of your hometown. Mamdani won a big victory. Have you endorsed him yet?
I have not. We had a conversation on Wednesday morning where I congratulated him on the campaign that he ran, a campaign that clearly was relentlessly focused on the high cost of living in New York City and the economy. He outworked, he out-communicated, and he out-organized the opposition, and that's clearly why he was successful.
So what's holding you back from endorsing him right now?
Well, we don't really know each other well. Our districts don't overlap. I have never had a substantive conversation with him, and so
I want to make a point here about this. By the way, I want to make a point about this
statement. You mentioned the diversity of your district, including a lot of Jewish constituents. Mamdani has made comments that some have said veer towards anti-Semitism. His initial statement after October 7th, he criticized the Israeli government but didn't criticize Hamas. He defended the use of the word globalize, or the phrase globalize intifada. And he
didn't really defend it. I think it's actually like meaningful to be specific on that. He didn't really defend it. That's just not what he did. He explained what that word or what those words might mean to other people. It wasn't language that he used. I think that's meaningful. It's meaningful how aggressively they are trying to paint him with this slogan.
Even said that the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu should be arrested, or he would, if he were mayor, he would arrest Netanyahu if he visited New York City. Do these things concern you?
Globalizing the Intifada, by way of example, is not an acceptable phrase, and he's going to have to clarify his position on that as he moves forward. With respect to the Jewish communities that I represent, I think our nominee is going to have to convince folks that he is prepared to aggressively address the rise in anti-Semitism.
It's like genuine. I can't stand living in this country where every rep bends the knee to Israel all the time. It's saying it's so tiring. Every single issue all the time, always bowing down and kissing the boot. I'm so tired of it, dude. Every time.
In the city of New York, which has been an unacceptable development. And any mayor, whether you're a Democratic mayor, Republican mayor, an independent mayor, has got to commit to the safety and well-being of all of the people of the city of New York. And when there are moments of crisis and a rise in anti-Jewish hate, that's a threshold, of course, needs to be crossed.
It's insane, genuinely. So I should say, like, okay, this is fully me ripping a point from Twitter, and I'm willing to give credit where credit is due. So I'm literally just showing you a Twitter post right now. But I want you to compare, and this is what the post says. I want you to compare the way they're treating Mamdani now, having just won decisively the New York City Democratic mayoral primary, versus how they treated Eric Adams after he barely managed to win on the 8th round of voting. Eric Adams barely won, and after 8 rounds, he had fewer votes than Mamdani had in the first round. He was invited to the Capitol building. He was invited to the White House. Eric Adams barely managed to squeak through a victory. And they were like, all right, bring him in, new mayor of New York City. All right, let's give him legitimacy. Let's give him power. Let's give him the ear of the most powerful people in the world. Meanwhile, Mamdani has not been given. Now, this was on July 12th, but this was right after his victory. If they treated him with any comparison, Mamdani would be touring up and down the Capitol building, meeting with Democrats right now. But they're not bringing him in. I wonder why. Absolutely insane. Democrats are racist. Mostly they're dogs of Israel, but yeah, they're also racist. Those two things kind of go hand in hand. Israel is, after all, a wannabe ethno-state. It's just all shit like this, man.
New York City is the home to the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. How can someone who traffics in that kind of speech represent that constituency effectively? His comments are really disturbing. His comments about intifada, calls for violence against Jewish people. It's really inappropriate for someone like that to lead the city of New York. New York City.
Graphics in speech. What a wonderful way of not saying anything. It's literal gaslighting. Yeah, their AIPAC contacts got a hold of everyone. The point isn't being made enough that these Democrats are basically calling 500,000 New York City Democrats anti-Semites. Dude, they literally don't care. Biden did that with all the college students in the country doing their demonstrations for Palestine. They did that to the Jewish Voice for Peace. They've done that to so many people. They don't care. Every day, more and more Democrats get fed up with their party leaders doing nothing about Trump and constantly kissing the boot of AIPAC and of Israel. They're getting fed up with it. And what do Democrats do? Absolutely nothing, because what else are they going to do, What are they going to do? Turn against AIPAC and instantly get primaried, or instantly have like a bunch of compromising information dropped over them? Madison Cawthorn mildly criticized the Republicans, and instantly there were leaks about him. What the do you think they would do to Schumer if Schumer didn't do what AIPAC wanted? How much dirt do you think they have on him? There's no dirt. He's in it for the love of the game. Schumer might be in it for the love of the game. There's probably also dirt as an insurance policy.
I have to ask you, too, about what it's been like for you to process some of the Islamophobic responses that we've seen. I think some would say they're not as surprised by some, like, Representative Ogles saying you should be deported. But others have been a bit surprised by, for example, a New York senator going on a popular radio show and suggesting that you support global jihad. What has that been like for you? And have you had the chance to speak with Senator Gillibrand?
I spoke to Senator Gillibrand soon after the victory on Tuesday evening, and the comments that I've heard, especially from Republicans across the country, And even the comments prior during the primary were comments that were both unsurprising and yet still quite sad, because they showcase what politics has become for so many. It's a language of darkness and a language of exclusion. And what has kept me hopeful through this is that our vision is one where every New Yorker belongs. And there are so many New Yorkers who previously hadn't voted in primaries, who saw themselves now in this politics, saw their struggles in our policies, and took that step to actually cast a ballot. And what excites me is that there are moments where someone will cast a ballot for someone with an exclusionary vision like Donald Trump, and they can still come back to the Democratic Party. And so many of our victories were in neighborhoods that went for Donald Trump in the presidential election. We're talking about College Point or Diker Heights, so many of the same places we were told that we had now lost voters forever. And instead, what we've found is that if you have a relentless focus on an economic agenda and you welcome people back and you turn the political instinct from lecturing to listening, you can still have people come home to the Democratic Party as long as you show them that's a party that will fight for working people.
He's so
not those
good,
that are benefiting
man.
off the struggles of working people.
We are going to dig into some of your policies in the second.
He's so good, dude. He's always on it. It's just, it's insane how the Democrats have been clamoring for, we need something to reinvigorate young voters. We need something to bring in like young male voters, for example. Desperate, oh, new Joe Rogan to the left. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's give $10 million to consultants so they can tell us, you know, this, look at this. 2021 Democratic primary, 2025 Democratic primary. Look at the vote turnout. This has never happened before. Right here. Saran Mamdani made the 18 through 34 age bracket the highest voting bracket, the biggest participants in the election. This has literally not happened before. It's unprecedented. It's insane. This graph is inaccurate. They released a correction. Well, okay, then provide a correction. Presumably Statistic Urban provided the correction. Graph is wrong. Revised graph is still striking. Immense youth. Oh, this is the revised one? Okay, there we go. Wait, how do they f it up like this to begin with? Some kind of like proportional? Because this was the one we just saw. Either way, I maintain the same fundamental point right here. This tick up right here, or this, what would you call it? This like double hump camel? Like a two hump camel that makes a two hump poop? This shit is unprecedented. Okay? The underlying point stands, data errors aside. They made the x-axis unreadable. We're working with a point here, okay? The answer is right there. And Democrats will not touch it because he defies the great state of Israel. It's absolutely remarkable. To the point where, I mean, obviously we know where Cuomo is... where Cuomo stands vis-a-vis like contesting Mamdani in the general election. Look at this shit. Look at Adams.
What specifically has Mamdani said that you think is anti-Semitic?
Pro-Hamas. Hamas is a dangerous terrorist organization that should be destroyed. When you embrace the philosophies of Hamas, not only what they do to their own people, but what they did in Gaza to lift them up and praise them, I think that's a clear indicator that something is wrong with that. But he has to
when did he praise Hamas? I don't recall him ever praising Hamas.
There's several videos, even during his days of being a rap artist, of praising Hamas and other terrorist groups. And so, a little research, you'll be able to find it. But I'm not competing against him only for what he's done and praising Hamas.
It's just do your own research. It doesn't matter. The establishment has signaled that the most effective way to attack Mamdani, even though it didn't work with Cuomo, is to just accuse him of being an anti-Semite over and 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 over again, no matter what, relentlessly, in the hopes that it works. That's the line they've decided to go with. It didn't work in the primary. They're hoping that it will work in the general, and the Democrats are completely complicit in it. A significant number of New York City Democrats would rather see Sliwa mayor than Mamdani, easily, 100%. Or are we interviewing Adams with all the corruption? Who the fuck cares if a politician is corrupt, man? They all are. I feel like informed simplicity is sort of regressing my mental state back to positions that I held back in high school. No one believes he hates Jews except white Christians. Nobody believes he hates Jews, period. I am so far past the point of believing that anyone smearing Mamdani thinks that they're being truthful. I don't think any of them are. Gillibrand or whatever, I think they literally are getting like AIPAC or some associated organization is just saying, yeah, that guy can't win, do what you can. And they're like, okay. Of course, they've all taken millions from AIPAC. And God, who knows how many, like AIPAC pushes its donors to provide plenty of money outside of AIPAC itself. So it's not like the amount of money that actually circles around in the favors and the da-di-da, it's so significant. I suppose, Ron, I've heard an argument he may not be able to fund programs if the rich leave NYC due to taxation. Is that a valid concern? I don't think so. I think capital flight is largely a threat that rich people deploy in order to bully you out of taxing them. I think that if you're rich enough to be affected by these taxes, then you have no right to complain. It's for people making $1 million a year or more. And also, like, genuinely, I don't think that rich people and their taxes are as necessary as many people think, right? It's New York City. There's an incomprehensible amount of wealth bottled up in New York City that will always be there no matter what. You know, the idea that you can have a robust functioning metro system in cities like Tokyo or Paris or Barcelona or London or any one of a bunch of cities in the Netherlands, like the idea that like every city in the Netherlands can have a robust public transportation system, but in New York City, you need to like, in order to maintain New York City's crumbling one, you need like every wealthy person to stay there, and they need to be placated and they need to be coddled. Like the only way you can have things in America that are anywhere near as good as places in Europe is if you just suck their dicks 24/7. It's a disgrace, okay? There is so much money in this country, we could all live like kings if it was used properly, but it's not. It's siphoned off. It's held in the stock market. It's held in bank accounts. It's held in illiquid form. It's held in low velocity forms where the money never circulates, so nobody benefits from it. It's a dragon's hoard. I am very heartened by the fact that Kathy Hochul, or Hochul, I will never remember, spoke against Gillibrand. Hochul was asked to respond to recent false claims from Gillibrand that Mamdani made references to global jihad in the campaign trail. Nobody should be subjected to any comments that slur their ethnicity, their religious beliefs, and we condemn that anywhere it rears its head in the state of New York. How do you mispronounce Kathy? Kathy? I don't know. I just got it in my head at some point. Look, there's a point to all of this, okay? Mamdani is the future. He is the light, okay? He is the Lord our Savior. He would probably disagree with that, but I say it, all right? I believe it as a Reddit atheist. The Democrats have absolutely no plan, no path forward. They have nothing. They have no ideas, okay? Nothing. Their only hope is to piggyback on this energy, and right now they're it up. They're it up because of their infinite undying fealty to Israel and to capitalism. They will not budge in either of these positions, but they need to be forced to. That's it. Just overwhelming pressure. Your enemy is the Democratic Party, not the Republicans, okay? Because the Republicans can't be fought until we take over the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party, as it exists right now, is completely incapable of and unwilling to do anything about the Republicans, and lefties on their own have no power whatsoever against any of the national legislative agenda items that Republicans are fielding. You know, they have none. They have none. We have no ability to change what Trump is doing at all. I'm not saying you shouldn't shit talk Republicans. Please do so forever, all the time. It's not about not criticizing them. But when it comes to fighting over the future of the country, the soul of the country, you're not doing that shit without some kind of like real political power base. And Mamdani needs all the help he can get, okay? Is Israel our enemy? Israel is the enemy of all life on earth, and I'm not even slightly exaggerating. It is a nuclear-armed, psychotic, rogue ethno-state currently committing a genocide with the support of the most powerful country on earth. Do you think behind-the-scenes Dems are having discussions about supporting Mamdani, or are they just having CPAP parties and talking about their 1930s childhoods? I think that there are a lot of Democrats who see the smoke on the horizon. They see what the future holds, and many of them are terrified because they have operated in a political framework for decades that has been built off of a consensus lie and consensus biases. They have allowed themselves to be puppets controlled by others, by capital, by Zionists, but I overstate, or what is it? I repeat myself. Yes. Of course, because the Zionist lobby is overwhelmingly just like Capitol with a mask on. I think that a lot of them know what's coming and they are terrified, but they're looking for a sign that they can survive moving over. AIPAC is not infinitely powerful, and neither is the capital class. The capital class is loosely organized and often quite stupid and self-defeating, okay? They have a lot of money, but money doesn't win you everything. Look at what Mamdani just did. I think that if certain Democrats see that this is a mandate they can't ignore, they will bend the knee because they will understand that there are things that money can't buy. And that's why we fight. They will do everything they can, though. Trump threatens to cut off New York City funds if Mamdani doesn't behave. Democrats are fully in line with this. When Democrats say that Mamdani pushes for global jihad, they're doing the exact same thing that Trump is here. They're doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, he's up against the Uniparty. We need to act, we need to infiltrate, and we need to make sure, no matter what, we need to make sure that Mamdani serves a good example. He needs to be strong and inspiring for enough Democrats to break free that something meaningful can be done. New York is providing the funds. Guys, New York can't not give money to the federal government because it gives money to the federal government through the form of the IRS taxing its residents, its businesses, etc. The federal government can withhold the money it gives back to New York. There's no mechanism for the city of New York to prevent the IRS from taxing its constituents and businesses. Wouldn't that be illegal? Yeah, but the president would be doing it, so no, it wouldn't be illegal. Can Mamdani have ICE people kicked out of New York State or New York City? No. They're federal agents. They have the authority to go wherever they want. That's an overstatement, but broadly true. So we can't ever have a good candidate then? Not necessarily. I didn't say that. Lamau, yeah, what about states' rights? That doesn't make any sense. Obviously, federal agents have to be able to go into states. You couldn't have states go rogue. That's just seceding. What he can do, however, is not have police work with them and also make it very difficult for ICE to enter or use any facilities in New York City. We're talking about the real world here, okay? Mamdani needs people who are defending him earnestly, authentically, and with a good understanding of how this shit works, okay? Not pie-in-the-sky, harebrained, cloud-minded ideals, okay? All right? You need to be right here with him. Put your goddamn shoes on.